YouTube finance has been a space that I'm sure a lot of us started with, watching different channels to learn about investing in personal finance and get started down that journey. And originally, it wasn't that bad for that type of information, but recently it has derailed off of being a decent place for information and just kind of been flooded with people who want to be the next stock gurus and multi-millionaire get rich quick guys, and telling you to just buy their course and buy their Patreon and they can make you rich, when in reality they have no idea what they're doing. And that's just like anybody in finance, right? If anyone can tell you that they can get you rich quick, then they're lying to you, because no one can do that. No one knows what's going to happen. No one can pick stocks and beat the market consistently, or almost no one can do that. So when people are telling you to buy their course and Patreon and do all this stuff to get access to these trades and things, it's only doing bad for you. It's literally benefiting them. They get to make a bunch of money off of you, and then you get to typically lose money off of whatever picks they throw your way. And we can start with one of the bigger and maybe more well-known channels of financial education, this Jeremy Lefebvre. Obviously, if you haven't watched his videos, you probably have heard his name. He's talked about all over the place on YouTube and the internet because he is someone who says he's the greatest investor of all time, a stock guru like no other, but his best records are investing in bankrupt companies and companies that drop 80 to 90%. So he doesn't really have the greatest record in actually picking stocks and getting rich from stocks. But, you know, he's on YouTube and be able to put that out there. And a lot of people think that he can actually do that. But we have a video here. This is one of the things that I think is so dumb that people do in finance. It's not only YouTube finance, it's all finance. It's so gate kept to try and make you think that you can't do it on your own. You need that financial advisor. You need to pay someone to do it for you. This is this type of stuff right here. This is his video talking about investing and, you know, how much money you can have and how, oh my God, it's just so poor. It's so dumb, the gatekeeping that goes on in finance.
So you kind of taught, you're brought up and you're saying, hey, if you get 7-8% a year, you're going to be fine. You're going to be looking good, right? Yeah, that's what the S&P 500 goes up. Yeah, index funds. Oh yeah, they're so amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, do a little math on this. $10,000 a year. Okay, so that's your initial investment. Then you do about $825, which is about $10,000 a year, right? And you do that over a 25-year span. You get your 7.5% per year. Okay, what do you have at the end of the pie? You have $733,000 in 25 years from now. In 25 years from now, okay? Now, keep in mind, in 25 years from now, I think $733,000 will really be like, in today's dollars, like $400 to maybe $475,000, okay?
So you see, this whole section here is so moronic, right? For him to be sitting here and saying, oh, in 25 years of you investing consistently, you'll only have almost $750,000 only, right? God, what are you, dirt poor? What do you think, that's a lot of money? This is so dumb. This is what people do when they need to keep you in the mindset that you have to have millions and millions of dollars to be able to do something, and you got to make 10, 20, 30, 40, $100 million to be able to consider anything. This is what people like this do, because he sells his Patreon. He sells, I think he just has a Patreon. He might have a course, I don't know. But he has a Patreon where he pitches his stock things as the best stock guru known to man. But this is so dumb to say $750,000 in 25 years is worthless. And what do you think, that's a lot of money? Yeah, people would that would change people's lives. $750,000? You think people are going to look at that and say, I've invested for 25 years, have $750,000, and I failed? You are out of your mind. You are super insanely insane. You think that people aren't going to say that $750,000 isn't a good thing to have? And even if you look at this, he says, I think it'll be only worth 400,000, 425,000 of today's dollars. That's still insane. Almost $500,000 in today's purchasing power. People, you need $10,000, 10 grand to a vast majority of people's life-changing money. Even if they know that they don't need to spend it, just having the availability to pull into $10,000, having a stock portfolio of $10,000, knowing that it's there, will relieve so much stress for someone's life just knowing that they have that money just in case they need it. So to say $750,000 is a failure and is poor, that's just like Grant Cardone when he says, "What, you can't live on 400K a year? That's poverty." Like, this is what these scammers do in finance, is they have to keep you in the mindset that this isn't enough. You'll never have enough. You have to pay them. You got to get better returns. You got to beat the market. You have to go above and beyond. When you just don't. Like, $750,000 is a ton of money. $500,000 in today's buying terms is a ton of money. That's life-changing money. That's not something to say, God, you invested for 25 years and only got almost $1 million. Like, that's what people do when they have something to sell you, so that you feel like you have to buy it from them because they can take you to better than that. And on top of that, he picked some very interesting numbers, right? So, I mean, for his video, he picked starting with $10,000 in an investment, $825 a month. That's all great. I mean, I think that could be high for a lot of people. Almost $1,000 a month in investing. A lot of people can't do that. That's a lot of money to have to be investing. But and then 7.5%. So if you change these, if you keep these numbers but add in the S&P's like normal thing, which is around 10%, even 9%, you have at the end of 25 years, $1.1 million. So he chose 7.5%, which maybe is more historically accurate and stuff, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Even if you pick this 10%, you can see it makes his argument invalid. You're a millionaire. You've reached millionaire status, something that not a lot of people can say that they've done. And to be able to do this with only, $825 investing over 25 years, doing just nothing but putting your money in an index, then you can be a millionaire. That defeats the whole purpose of him saying you need to buy his Patreon and get his stock picks and give him money because you can't do it on your own. When this is the real, even if we change this, even if we say 9%, right? Because that's about 9 to 10%, you're gonna be somewhere around $1 million for the S&P. And this is what you can do. You don't need a financial advisor. All they're going to do is siphon fees off, and you're going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in fees to this financial advisor guy. You're going to lose tons of money to Jeremy or whoever you want to pay for their course or Patreon. If you don't want to put the time into picking stocks or putting money into individual stocks and keeping up with the news and just making sure you're plugged in just in case something's going on, then you can easily take money, throw it at the index, put it in the S&P 500 and BTI, VOO. You can have money in an index, not have to do all of the work that comes along with kind of keeping up with the news if you don't want to, and you'll be perfectly fine. You can get $1 million in 25 years if you're just putting it in the index, and you'll be good. But this is one of the biggest problems in finance, really. It's always gatekept. Everything in finance is gatekept as if it's the world's biggest secret, and it's just so hard that a normal person, you could never do it. You need to pay someone to tell you what to do, when in reality, you don't need to give anyone your money. You could simply, if you don't want to buy individual stocks, do all that stuff, and keep up with the news, then you can just put it in the index and leave it there, and who cares? You don't need to pay someone. You don't need to give someone fees. You don't need to do all this stuff. It's not as hard as people are trying to make it sound. They only try and make it sound hard because they want you to feel like you have to give them money to get some sort of advantage or to even get your foot in the door, when that couldn't be further from the truth. As much as I would love to see this trend come to an end where people are pretending to be stock gurus, throwing all these things out, and then getting caught even by other YouTubers and people covering this, and just throwing it under the rug, pretending it never happened, and no one seems to care, and everything goes on like nothing happened. So who knows how much longer this goes. Hopefully it ends soon, because it's really annoying to see this happening. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.